Namaste. Sahel region of Africa is known for its vast natural resources, its host of other problems, and recently it's known for shifting allegiance from, let's say, pro-Western countries to not so pro-Western countries or anti-Western countries, namely Russia and China. Now, why is it important? And why India needs to worry about it or concern about this, and what can have implications on India? So let's find out. In this video, we'll discuss following aspects. First, we'll discuss the location of this Sahel region. Where is it located in Africa? Then we'll talk a brief history, not detailed, a brief history from 8th to 21st century. And then we'll talk about the most important, the reason why we are making these videos, the resources, what kind of resources it has. And we'll briefly discuss the problems that have caused because of those resources, and then we'll discuss about the resentments against Western nations, and the important thing of shifting allegiance, especially of three countries, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Those three countries. We'll focus only these three countries. And what is the larger geopolitical angle, and where exactly India is fitting into this things happening in Sahel region. So, are you ready? Let's go. First, we discuss the location of this region, and as you can see in this the map given below, it's kind of a green wall from drier northern part of drier Sahara regions to the very humid regions of southern savannas or Sudanas. So if you go with the different definitions, it has the different countries, but I was managed to find UN kind of United Nations definitions of Sahel region. It contains these few countries from western part Atlantic Oceans to the eastern side of Red Sea. So Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Chad, Sudan, Nigeria, South Sudan, Mauritania, Senegal, Eritrea. Second thing, I'm going to talk about history. Now, this region used to be a very good or say very known Malian empire. The cities like Timbuktu, Djinn used to flourish from 8th to 18th century, and this empire used to control important trade routes, and all of it uh, work very well till 18th century, until the Europeans came, and they defeated those empires. They colonized, and the western part of Africa, or western part of this Sahel region, become part of French Africa, as you can say the name it. um, and the eastern part was initially kind of colonized by Egyptian kingdom, and then it became part of British. And this we will not go with the colonization history, you know it very well, or how it went. And the regions got independence in 1960s of the western part from France, and the eastern part got independence from British, like Sudan. Those countries got independence in 1956. But um, these countries faced a host lot of problems in 21st centuries, um, because they had military rules for most of the times, and there have been civil war and insurgencies. So this region never really got some sort of stability in all countries. Like some countries did have, but they are interest groups, so they want resources, and they, let's say, support one party, and another group in the same country support with another party, and they compete for power, and that creates chaos in the society in the region, and that has been going on for quite some time. Problems of this region. That's why this region has a low human development index. This region has um, one of the most abundance region for natural resources, but it doesn't get so much money for it. We'll go into that in a minute. But it's also a place for terrorism activities like Boko Haram, the Islamic State, and Al Qaeda affiliated links or organizations working here. And there has been fighting ongoing between interest groups. So this is a hotbed for terrorism too, and there is a growing problems of famine in some parts. I'm sure you know about the fighting happened in South Sudan and all those regions. And one of the important problems, European countries were concerned about trafficking. They signed a pact with a couple of those countries, so that people from these regions, Sahel regions, because of instability, don't migrate to Europe, or they European countries wanted to avoid huge migration waves. So, but trafficking is a huge problem. If you go into map, I'll show the map. Chad is a country which is a gateway to Libya, and Libya is one of the hubs for for the traffickers to take people all the way to Europe. Corruption is one of the issues, as I said, that there are interest groups which are supported by different parties. So society doesn't get so much money, but interest groups get powerful, and there is a problem of coup because there's a military rules most of places in these regions, and military has one leader rules for some years, and then another group becomes powerful. Then they overpower the first group, and the second groups come, and the second groups then work for a few years. Then third group comes. So stability and the society doesn't come. Now let's talk about resources. That's a key reason why so many countries are interested in it, from Europe to Asia to North America. The first is uranium. Uh, Niger has a vast natural resources in the form of uranium mines, and it's being said by some studies that 5% of world's uranium is mined from Niger. And Mali has oil too, and recently lithium has been discovered in Mali, so Chinese companies are investing there. And it has a this region also had diamonds in Africa, in this region, and there's a coal ore and a host of other. You can see the list. I think it's there display. You can see the list of natural resources per country: copper, magnesium, manganese, bauxite, and that's where we go for the problem of resentment. You see, when the countries which colonize these regions, or these countries current regions, they they kind of try to control even after leaving those regions through their favorable governments, and these governments were very much, let's say, pro west. They allowed these European countries or western countries to mine those resources for a very small sum of money, and so they did not get so much money out of those natural resources. The profit has been kept with those western countries, and so the development never happened in those regions. Because so there has been a lot of resentments against, especially French government, because French occupy most of Sahel region, and again western occupations resentments against, so people of these countries are blamed those western countries that they never left these countries. They keep on occupying, and the countries are keep getting poor despite they have so much value in their land. Now let's go to the point of the main point of our video of shifting allegiance, and on that we'll focus on three countries: Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. And what happened here is, these countries used to be ruled by military, and they had military bases of French army, American army, Germans were also there, and these countries are facing the insurgents in some regions of their borders, and forces were there to help these countries' forces to repel those activities. Let's say terrorism, insurgencies, or you name them. But what happens is, the people of these countries feel that these forces or those Western countries were there to keep occupying, keep colonizing. They were not there to help. They were there to just demonstrate the show of force, so that these countries will continue to align with Western interest. And there were coup in past in the past, I think, 1.5 years, where Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, these three countries changed their military leadership. One gone, the pro person gone, the pro Western colonel or military chief has gone, and then comes somebody who is not aligned with West. So there comes re-entry of Russia. Now Russia was, let's say, present in African Africa as part of Soviet Union. So a lot of people in Africa has a fond memories of Russia helping them gaining independence from Western colonizers. In the few years, Russia increased their presence. The Russian army is training some of the region's armies, and PMC Wagner, the private mercenary company of Russian government, Wagner is actually also fighting with the, I think, Mali government forces against the terrorists or the insurgencies. So Russia has re-entered into the domain, but now it's taking over the place of the place vacated by Western countries. Like Russian government forces already there. Their PMC Wagner is there. I think Russia also supplied weapons. They're also training their pilots of some of these countries. So Russia has presents a military form. And apart from that, China also invested in these regions. China too has invested in these regions in the form of infrastructure building, in the form of technical training, and also China presented some projects to those countries, hospitals or schools, universities, things like that. So this is an entry of, let's say, um, anti-Western bloc. So they presented that we are not colonizers like Western countries. We are here to build infrastructure. We are here to improve your lifestyle. So people who are resentment against French and Western occupations, they found alternate. Now, why is it important to study this region? What is the geopolitical angle here? As you can see, there is a military coup where a pro-Western general was replaced by an anti-Western general. So there are two interest groups in the society, in the military. For the moment, that anti-Western group is powerful, but maybe in the future, the pro-Western group will become powerful again, and both the sides, pro and anti-West, will try to have an influence. So that can, this is a kind of tug of war we have seen during the Cold War, and this can be revival of Cold War. And let's say if they are able to have these countries under their bloc, let's say anti-Western bloc or pro-Western bloc, for some countries are pro-Western, some are anti-Western, and depends on who has more natural resources or control. It can change that one bloc or one country who's control of things can decides to exert dominance on certain natural resources. For example, China a few days ago put an export control on anti-money. Now, anti-money is the metal which is being used for a lot of military hardware. China does not have so many mines, but it has a 80% of world's refining capacity of anti-money, which is this is a directed for tat to US government's semiconductor export control. So, so this is kind of a technological war is happening, and this can ignite in Africa also, and this can have implications across across the world's markets economy. Now let's go to the last point. How does India fit into this? We talk about Sahel region, we talk about resources, and we talk about the problem, resentment, and shifting allegiance. Where does India fit into all of this? You see, India is trying to practice multipolarity. After the independence, we used to be non-aligned, meaning we are not aligned with anybody, we are equidistancing. Now we are aligned with everybody based on our interest. So we are practicing independent foreign policy where we are too big a country to take a side. So we are trying to stay all the sides or our sides and communicating with all, and let's feel that Russia is there, China is there, but they're also there to for their interest. And the multipolarity in this context will be challenged because India has a good relations with both West and East, Russia and other countries. So if we see the revival of Cold War, then our neutrality, our multipolarity, our interest was aligned will be tested. Interest-based alignment with different countries will be tested, and considering whoever has upper leverage in this region may have a possibility to control prices, may have possibility to influence the economic interest, because every country need natural resources, and those who can control the price can exert influence. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, then share it with others. And if you want to know more of geopolitical commentary in the future from India's perspective, then subscribe to my channel. Till the next time, namaste.